Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Indian Programmer on YouTube. And today I'm going to continue with where I left you in the previous lecture. In this particular lecture, I'm going to tell you about the how you design a GUI based application using Swing. So what happens is that what a Swing basically is, a Swing basically is a GUI. If you want to make some GUI structure, then you need Swing. So in that you have certain top level containers, and you have sub containers. You can place the sub containers on the top container, and then you can place the components. So about the components I've already told in the earlier lecture, and about the top level container also I have told in the previous lectures that what top level containers are and how many type of top level containers there are. So as I told that if you want to have a window on your desktop, so you need a particular frame, or so means a frame is like a container on which you will place other components. Similarly, we can place the sub containers on a particular top level container. Actually there are three types of top level container that I had told you in the previous lecture. So those were the JFrame, the JDialog, and the JApplet. So if you are running some standalone application on your desktop, then the window which will open would be in the form of the JFrame, and the JDialog, if there is certain dialog that is appearing and a window is opening, then you need a JDialog. And the JApplet, if you want to run something on your browser, then the window which will open would be in the form of the applet. So basically all these belongs to the Swing, basically belongs to the foundation classes. So what a foundation class basically is, it is a suite of libraries designed to assist programmers in creating enterprise applications with Java. So if you want to create certain enterprise application using Java, then you need certain libraries, and those were the foundation classes. So Swing is a part of Java foundation class. The Swing API is only one of the 5 libraries that make up the JFC. So there are 5 libraries included in the JFC. One of them is Swing. JFC also consists of the abstract window toolkit. So the abstract window toolkit was used earlier, and I've told you that because of certain advancements, Swing is used nowadays. So the means what I mean to say over here is that actually the Swing came out of this only. So it is not different, it is not something that has evolved from some other thing, but it has evolved from AWT only. So the accessibility API, the 2D API, and the enhanced support for drag and drop capabilities. So if I go through these uh, foundation libraries, then the first one was the AWT, which I've told you earlier. There were certain accessibility API, the 2D API, the drag and drop API, and the Swing. So all these we are not going to discuss, but we are focusing on Swing right now. So what happens is that if you want to make a particular Swing program, then you need to use the package, that is the java.swing.star package. Means star means all the sub packages and sub classes would be included then. So and it is event driven. When I say that it is event driven, I mean to say that there is a certain change in the state of certain components. So what happens is that if you are going to perform some action, then the state of the components might change. Suppose we have a button, and we have a if we click the button, then the state of the button is changed from means earlier it was unclicked and now it is clicked. So what we want is that we want that if the state is changed, then there is some other components that wants to respond to that particular event that has occurred. Means if you have a text box, or you have a text area, and you want to fill that text area with certain text when the button is clicked, and then the component of the text area must listen to the event that has occurred, that is the button clicked. So what happens is that we need a certain procedure. We have a certain procedure through which we have certain interfaces. So what happens is that through those interfaces, the one component listens the event that has occurred in another component, and it responds accordingly. So there are certain lines of code that are performed on the event. When the event is performed or event occurs, we can say. So it is event driven. We have an event handler, we have event listeners. So if you want to go through the Java Swing API, then in this actually the object is the main class from from which the other classes uh, are originated. So the component comes from the Java, and then the container from this component. All these have evolved from the object. So object is the main class, uh, and and all other things evolve from this only. So the window comes from the container. So window is also a extension of the container. So it is also a kind of container. When we say about the frame or the dialog, as I told you earlier, that this is the top level uh, so components. So what happens is that container component, sorry. So all these both these top level container components are extended from the window. And JFrame and JDialog are also evolved from this frame and uh, dialog. So that's why I was telling that it's not separated from the AWT, but it is evolved from that only. Uh, and the J components, so these are the components that are placed on the container. So actually the J component is also evolved from the J component is also evolved from the container, which is evolved from the component. And there are all these components that we place. So the JText, the JCombo box, the JLabel, the JList, the JMenu bar, the JOption pane, the JPanel, the JScroll bar, and then JText actually evolves these two. So JText field and the JText area both are extended from the JText. Now the abstract button, the JToggle button, the JMenu item, and the J button, all these evolve from this. The component class, let's talk about the component class. First of all, here is the component class. So what the component class is, so the parent class of many AWT classes. As you can see that there are many AWT classes over here, and the component class is the parent class of all these AWT classes. Represents something that has a position and a size and can be painted on the screen, as well as it can receive events. So means you can see that it is something that is present on your screen, that is it is having some position, and we can have some size, we can assign some size also. Means we can customize its size also, so it has some size, and can be painted, and we can on the screen. But what I mean to say over here is that means it is present on the screen, as well as it can receive input events. So that I've told you earlier that it is an event driven model. So this is an abstract class, and so be sure that you know that the component, what happens is that this is an abstract class, and may not be instantiated. Means we cannot instantiate the abstract class directly, because there are methods which do not have their body when we have an abstract class. So we need to define the body of those particular methods, and then only we can instantiate. So what happens is that means we need to extend, and then we need to then we can instantiate the object of the extended class. So that's why we are extending the component class, and we are getting the container class in this way. So that's what I was trying to explain. So new JFrame, if you want to make a JFrame, then these are the lines you need to include. First of all, you need to import the javax.swing, because I have told you that it is included in the package of the javax .swing. This was the library which is included in the JFC, the swing library. So construct a new initially invisible JFrame. This is very important point, that the JFrame, if you are going to create a new JFrame, then initially you are not going to means the JFrame is not going to appear on the screen, because there is a certain property, and that is the visibility of the frame, and by default it is set to false and it is not true. So when I will make my first program, I will set the visibility of the frame to true myself. And if you want to create, or anybody wants to create a program, then he will have to do the same. That is, he will have to set the visibility true by explicitly mentioning the visibility to true, and implicitly it is set to false, otherwise by default. So J component specify the content of a frame, helpful in adding several items to a frame by placing them in boxes. This is very clear that what I'm trying to say, that if we want to add the J components, so what happens is that they specify the content of the frame, helpful in adding several items. If we want to add several items, then what we need is that we are going to add the component. So for this particular reason, we are going to use the add method, and since it is method, so it is not starting from capital. And then we have the default set default close operation. Actually what happens is that if you are going to close any particular window, then by default it is not going to close by just clicking the cross sign. So what happens is that we need to have the set default close operation. So this operation, what this operation will do is that it is going to close the window when the cross button is clicked. So possible values of this operation that we can assign to this operation, set default close operation, is do nothing on close. That is, if I click the close button, then nothing should be done. Hide on close means the window would be hidden when anyone clicks the close area, close button that is on the right top in Windows, and the cross sign, and dispose on close and exit on close. So all these are the values that we can assign to this set default close operation. So void set size. So this is something which I have told you, that the window size or the frame size which you want, you can customize the size. So for this particular reason, you need to set the size. So set size is used. Resizes this component so that it has width and height. So if I want to assign certain particular width or height, then I need to use the method the set size. Similarly, we have the set title. So what happens is that it sets the title for this frame to the specified string. So you can set the title of your frame by using this method. Set visible, if it will have the boolean values. This I have told you earlier that it is by default set to false. So shows or hides the frame depending on the parameter b. So what we are going to pass is going to be the cause of what we are going to see. Okay, so the container, as I told you earlier, the parent class of all the components, and one that can contain other components. So this is also quite clear that what a container basically is, and there are three types of container which I've told you earlier, so I'm not going to tell this again. And then we have the helper objects. So what useful helper object called the layout manager. So what layout manager does is that if you want to add certain components to the window or the frame, and then we need to position them as we wish. So for positioning them as we wish, what we need is we need to add certain set layout. So for setting out layout, we need to have this method set layout. Layout manager mgr is object to this, so which is a class that positions the components inside the container. Void set layout, void add. So if you want to add components, so we will add that component, and we can have the string name also. So I've told you about the frame, a top level window that has a border and can also be associated with a menu bar. Means we can have some menu bar also, and the dialog, top level window used to create dialogues. So if you have a dialog, then you need to have the dialog box. The panel, the subclass of container used inside the container, used to store the number of objects. So actually we use the panels above our frame. So okay, this much is enough for this. Actually I have to go somewhere. I will continue from where I'm leaving in the next lecture. So thanks.